Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you want to see how I create this look, then please keep on watching. Hello. So today I'm going to be doing a simple green foresty tutorial. I have been requested to do it by one of my friends. Hello Holly, this is for you. Let's just get straight onto it. So I've already done my eyebrows and I've actually carved my brows with the P. Louise base, which I have just started doing. I've done it twice now, I think. And you know what? I always thought I'd never be one of them people that did it, but somehow now I can do it and I like it. I'm changed. I'm a different girl. Right. I'm just going to flatten out my creases. Ow. And for this look, I'm going to be using the Dare to Create palette by Morphe. It's got a ton of colours in. First off, I'm going to be taking my Sigma E40 and dipping into the shade Fickle, which is the lighter khaki in their palette. And I'm just going to pop that into my socket. I'm just dabbing it first. Maybe should have used a smaller brush for it, but I'm trying to make this as simple as possible. Minimal brushes, you know? Because I understand that not everyone has a lot of brushes. If you've got a bit of... It's not creasing, but it's like anti-creasing, isn't it, really? If you've got any lines where the product hasn't hit, don't worry about that because blending will just fix that. Oh, is that from my brush? Look at my brush falling apart. Right, so I've put that colour on, and what I'm going to do now is just buff it. I'm using quite a... what the hell? Fluff. I'm just gonna use quite a firm pressure and use circular motions to buff that colour out. Right, so that's the first blend done. I'm gonna go back in with the same brush and the same colour, and I'm gonna blend it a little bit higher onto my eye so that when I'm looking forward you can clearly see a bit more colour. With my style of makeup, I like to use my entire lid space to add shadow. Does that make sense? So this time I'm not digging my brush into my crease. I am going a little bit above it, and I'm going in with a bit more of a lighter pressure, and I'm buffing that outwards. Using this sort of method also means that you don't really need to have more than one shadow for the look. You can literally just use the same colour but just add different amounts on and different pressures, and it'll give you the sort of look where it looks like you've applied more than one. Do you know what I mean? And for here, I'm just tugging on my brow and flicking that colour out right towards the tail of it. I should probably have done this on my other eye so you could see it a bit better, but oh well. Right, I'm just going to add a little bit more to this bit of my eye just to lift, because if you don't add enough shadow, if you've got the same sort of eye shape as me, it'll kind of not lift your eyes, it'll just, I don't even know what eye shape that is. It'll make your eye look like an ironing board or a bit more downturned. Is that the word? I'm not even sure. So if you're wanting to raise your outer corners, you need to... Oh my god, why am I so shit at explaining things today? If you want to tilt your eyes a bit more up at the corners... This is just not going well, okay. Let me just compose myself for 5 minutes. Right, if you want the appearance of a more upturned eye, then you need to add a bit more colour up here in your corner of your socket, and that'll just raise it. I hope I've explained that because I've butchered that explanation so much. And then I'm really trying to feather that end. So I've started a new Netflix series on Netflix. I'm watching Bates Motel at the minute, and I'm currently on the 2nd season, and I am so hooked on this series. It's a joke. Like, I was kind of put off it because I get all these recommendations on Twitter, and I'd previously seen that someone said it was like hard to get into, but that is a load of bollocks. It is probably one of the only series I've ever watched that I've been hooked on straight away. Like, every episode has been brilliant. Honestly, if this series hasn't won some sort of award, it needs to. Right, I think we're pretty much done with that. Now I'm gonna go into... Am I done with that 100%? There, now I'm done. Right, next I'm gonna go in with this Dumb Blonde pigment. This one is in the shade Down to Earth, and it's basically just a nice shimmery green. I'm literally gonna just plop that. Oh wow. Into the empty space, and then I'm gonna blend that out into that khaki shade. This look is really simple. As long as you blend everything out to the max, it'll look fantastic. Now what I'm gonna do is just really disperse that shimmer out. It's sort of a trend right now to like really disperse shimmery shadows, which I never thought would happen, but it actually looks so nice. Like, if you have a look on like modelly looks that you see on Charlotte Tilbury or something, they literally just use a shimmer shadow all over the lid dispersed, and it looks angelic. Also, I don't need to use a lash glue, or not a lash glue, like a glitter adhesive, because this sticks on absolutely perfect with the P. Louise base. I kind of did an experiment on the base the other day. Like, I put my base on like a plastic lid just when I was using it, and I had a little bit of excess on the lid, and then I left it for a few days, went back to it, and it was still not dry, which I thought was quite amazing. So I feel like if you had an open jar of it, left the lid off it, it'd still be perfect, which I think's incredible. That just shows you how like tacky and wet this base really is. Right, now I'm gonna go back into my Sigma E40 and just blend that shimmer out a little bit. I'm just gonna raise that shimmer slightly on my more hooded eye, just so that it shows a little bit more. And then blend that out. Back in the day, putting shimmer into your sort of crease area was a bit of a no-no, but now I think it looks fab. Now I'm just going to wipe away any excess fallout without taking off the base that I've already put on my under eyes, and then I'll get on to my liner, lashes, etc. Right, so that's my liner and lashes done. If you want to know what my lashes are, they are the Lash Line lashes in Lady Lush, I think. Now I'm going to get on to my face. Oh, Christ, that was a close one. Right, so the foundation I'm using today is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Stick. I am in the shade Y445, so I'm definitely going to be needing to prep my face with the Pixie Rose Oil, just because it makes the foundation a bit more less stiff. So I'm just going to quickly put that all over, and then I'm going to put tribal stripes all over. And this is an Olivia Hale sponge, which you can get in Home Bargains for like £1.60 or something. Much cheaper than a beauty blender and even a Real Techniques sponge. Highly recommend. I'm not too bothered when it comes to my foundation if I sheer it out a bit, just because I like a more skin-like look. I literally only use foundation for the colour, as long as it's quite natural in formula. Like, I don't tend to do matte foundations at all anymore, purely because my skin can't take it. Now, to kind of blend my eyeshadow with my foundation, all I do is kind of lightly press over the edge, and that should do it, really. The concealer I'm using is... oh shit, that's the wrong one. BRB. The concealer I'm using is a NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop in the shade Beige. True Beige. And I have been using this to test it out to see what I really think of it. And my updated thoughts are that it doesn't replace my Shape Tape, that's for sure. It's not full coverage. I'd say it's a medium, and it's just a medium. I don't find it's that buildable. If I'm being honest, I have a feeling that this oxidizes. Let me just see. Yeah, I feel like it does a touch. So bear that in mind if you're interested in it. I had a feeling this would be too light for me, but to be honest, I don't think that matches the colour that's actually in the bottle, you know? Oh god, I'm really not used to this formula. It dries so damn quick. It's just not practical for me whatsoever. You know what? I can't be bothered with that. I'm gonna go in with my Shape Tape. I feel like if you were to mix that concealer with a different concealer that has a bit more of a better consistency, it'd be fine. But oh god, no, I can't deal with that. It's hassle. Oh, much better. To protect my makeup, I'm just gonna dab a little bit of powder on my under eye. I definitely don't want to be baking or anything like that with this concealer because I just don't think it's that fantastic, to be honest. It's a bit too dry. For my bottom lash line, I'm gonna go back in with the pigment and just use that all over, making sure I'm tapping off the excess because it is a loose pigment and I definitely don't want that going everywhere. I'm just taking my Sigma gel liner in the shade Stunningly Ladylike, and I'm literally tight lining my tight line, and then I'll add some mascara, and then that's the eye look pretty much done. I'm going to quickly dust off that powder because I do not want that on my face whatsoever. Just take the excess and put that all over my oily parts, and then that's it. Absolutely no more powder where that concealer's been because it's deserty. I fancy cream contouring for a change, so I'm going to use my NYX foundation in Rich. I don't think you can actually get this foundation anymore, but I am using it anyways because I bought it. So I'm literally going to mark where I want to cream contour. And I'm not putting too much of this because that's where you can tend to go very wrong. So I'm just going to use the side of my sponge where there's no product on it and blend that in. You kind of want to be careful with what products you're using to cream contour because not every product will work for it. The product I used to try and cream contour with literally wiped away and everything underneath it when I tried to blend it, which was obviously not a good thing. So if you've got like a foundation or anything like that, just make sure it's like preferably not matte. That's the kind of problem you'll probably get with it. You want something that's creamy that won't dry down and then take away what's underneath. And I find using a sponge gives a more natural finish, and it also helps with taking off any excess product which you are quite likely to get when you're using creams. To highlight, oh shit, I'm using my Becca Opal, my smashed Becca Opal, sad, and I'm just going to highlight all my highlighty areas. Actually no I'm not. I'm going to spray my face first. I'm just going to spray my face with my Pixie Glow Mist, the original one, just to give my face a little bit of hydration after that concealer powder situation. Right, I'm just gonna let that sit for a little bit so it's not as wet, and then I'm gonna go back in with my highlight. So I'm literally gonna just brush it on lightly. Definitely don't put too much pressure onto your brush, otherwise that can disturb everything you've put underneath already. Also, the reason why I don't like applying like a mist and then go straight in with the highlighter is because sometimes, yeah, it'll give you a more beaming highlight or whatever, but it also looks disgusting in person. Like, it literally looks like, I don't know, you've got like a Kit Kat tinfoil wrapper on, and it doesn't look very natural or blended. It literally looks like you've stuck a bit of tinfoil onto your face, and it doesn't look like skin. I like everything to look as natural as possible. I've actually seen some comments on some of my makeup posts wondering why the hell I highlight that bit, because apparently people don't like it. Not that I care, I really don't. I think I've mentioned it in a video before, but if you've got a bit of a conk in your nose, this just helps to disguise it by lifting the lower part of your nose. It'll just give the illusion that you've got a more straight nose, I guess. I can't explain. So if you can hear, my dog is being a little right now. For blush, I actually quite like using the P. Louise Secret Sinner palette. The one my god, the colour I actually like to use is the colour S&M. Shit, that's probably a bit too much. I'm forgetting that it's not a blush, it's an eyeshadow. So I'm literally just gonna slap that on. I don't know if you can see that, but I've just got a massive patch. Shit. See, this is why you want to be careful when you spray your face first, because now I've got a big fat patch. Excellent. So I'm gonna have to fix that. Right, I'm just taking my trusty Heartthrob, which is a blush. I'm just gonna, oh shit. Okay, a bot with that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a little bit of foundation onto my sponge, and then I'm gonna dab lightly over the top. Okay, fixed. Excellent. I think I'm actually going to add some freckles to this look. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking a little pointy brush like this. This one is the Zoeva 315, and I'm literally going to go into some contour powder. This brush is a bit dirty from that liner that I put on, but right, all I'm going to do is put random dots on the middle part of my face, and I'm not too bothered about them being too dark or whatever, because I'm going to go back in with my finger or sponge just so that they're not as intense. And also I do tend to use different shades of contour to do this, just so they're not all exactly the same colour. Blending it in afterwards with the sponge also kind of meshes them together, because freckles are more like mushy. See, if you left it like that, it looked very artificial. I'm just going to take my sponge and just tap over the top. Finger definitely works well if your like contour spots are a bit harder to blend. Like, you gotta bear in mind that I have just sprayed my face with a liquid, so it's gonna be a little bit more trickier than if it was like on a powdered surface. So that's them blended. Now I'm gonna go in with some various other tones. And I keep doing this until I get the result that I want. Right, I'm quite happy with the way that looks. For lips, I'm gonna just line them with this Rimmel liner in Cappuccino. I think I'm gonna do a sort of ombre lip. Oh, you know what's funny? Recently in some posts I've been lining my lips in a certain way that has been really pissing some people off, and I just don't understand why. Like, sometimes I literally draw a straight line on my cupid's bow just to change the shape a little bit, but I just don't understand why some people are so bothered and offended by the way I choose to line my lips, like, and just be a bit nasty about it, because it's literally just makeup at the end of the day. Like, it's not that deep. Oh, my little dog. Come here, Mazzy. Can you hear his little tail? It's so cute. Mazzy. Mazzy, come here, baby. He's stuck, I think. Mazzy, come here, baby. Come on. Oh, good boy. He wants to see my little doggy. Oh, Mazzy. Can you see my little dog? He's so cute. Oh, he just wants his ball. Mummy will play with your little Mazzy. Let me finish. He's literally just sat here. Well, it's not sat here. I think it's gonna go now. Do you want underneath? Go on then. Good boy. Oh, back onto the subject. All I've got to say about it is this. I really don't care. And over the top, I'm gonna go in with the shade Syrup by Makeup Revolution. And then I'm gonna go in with one last spritz. And that is the finished look. I hope you liked it. I hope you learnt something. Feel free to subscribe if you want to. Leave me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.